Hi guys, and welcome back. I did mention that this year would be the year of the Supra, and you only have to come to the Toyota stand to actually realize this. They have almost every single car on their stand as a Toyota Supra and various different versions of it. Behind me I have the Toyota Heritage version, which is a internal project from Toyota to make it look more like the old Mark IV, and there's a few styling cues on this car that kind of bring both of them together. At the front of the car you've got round lights in the headlights instead of square ones, and I was speaking to the guys at Toyota and they actually had to 3D cut this acrylic out to make the headlight glass, and the interior of it is 3D printed. On the front of it they've got a front lip which overlays the stock one and just adds a bit more aggression. It's running a set of HRE wheels, and the whole thing with this car was that the guys at Toyota didn't want to do an over fender kit but wanted to fit the widest wheels possible to the car, so they're running a 305 tyre on the rear, and we'll explain how they managed to do that. On the side of the car, this panel is obviously different with an air vent, and they've actually interestingly left the stock side skirt in but just added a bit that kind of mirrors the back of it to give it some symmetry. The interior of the car is also upholstered in red and black, and it's slightly different to a normal version, but the seats do actually look like they're stock. So the rear of the car is running a 305 tyre on the HRE wheels, and the way that they've managed to do that, if you come over to the back, is by fitting inboard suspension. So that allowed them to bring the hubs further into the car so they can fit a much wider tyre. The paintwork on this car is also not the normal red, it's got some paint fleck in it, so when the light hits it, it does change colour. And this is a wing from the Mark IV Supra, just to give that Q tie-in to that old car. So the rear lights are also done in the circular shape and were made with the same process with the 3D printing inside. And obviously the obvious thing about the back is it's got a center exit exhaust instead of the side, and it's got a really aggressive add-on to the rear diffuser. Again, to me that looks like it's the stock rear diffuser but with just that bit added in. So overall looks really good. I love the whole idea of bringing the Mark IV into the Mark V and tying the two together. There are two other interesting Supras on this stand, so let's go check them out. Behind me I have one of two cars designed by Toyota TCD, which stands for Toyota Customizing and Design, and they are TRD's parent company. So TRD, if you don't know, is Toyota Racing and Development, who look after all the Toyota racing cars in Japan. So this is one of the more subtle versions of their car, and this looks like it fits into the stock locations and is fully carbon instead of plastic. It's running a set of forged wheels designed by Toyota themselves. It actually looks like it's stock ride height. I don't think they've actually lowered this car yet. The side skirts are also carbon and very much follow the stock lines, just a little bit more aggressive. And they've also interestingly changed this side panel, and they've blocked the fake vent that is normally there. Has some carbon fiber wing mirrors, and this car also has a different interior, so it's quite dark, but I can see it's got carbon fiber center console, and it's got a set of bride seats in there. Coming to the rear of the car, again it's very much like the stock diffuser apart from these end bits. So I've got a feeling this just is a carbon cover that fits over the stock ones and just makes it look slightly more aggressive. Very large exhaust, look like kind of titanium finish on there, and it's also got an add-on rear spoiler. So when I was speaking to the guys at Toyota, they said that this is the one that was more subtle, but they also wanted to create an over fender kit, and that one is behind us, so we'll go check that out now. So the third and final Supra that's caught our attention on the Toyota stand is this 3000 GT concept, which was inspired by the original TRD 3000 GT from 1994. So this has very similar styling cues from the one we just seen, but it has an over fender kit. So the difference with this one, the front lip is very similar, but it separates from the body, and it also has an extra bit here which is body colored. I really like the detail where they've put the carbon in the V, which we do on some of our Venturi products. The car is wrapped in like a metallic shiny, it looks like brushed metal. I don't know if it's going to come out on the camera or not, but the most noticeable thing about this car is these triangle vents, which were on the original car, and that really brings the inspiration from the old car into the new car. So we've got the over fender kit, which runs around the whole car, and again very similar side skirts to the one we've just seen, and what looks like the same overlay on here. The other thing I've noticed that's different is the wing mirror. It's more like an M style mirror where it comes over from the top and completes the loop. This also has the same bride seats and carbon fiber center console that we just saw in the other car. The wheels on this car are made by TWS, which is a Japanese company which makes forged wheels. It also has HKS suspension exhaust and a Brembo brake kit. So again, the rear looks the same on this part, but it has some vinyl wrap. The exhaust is HKS, as I just mentioned, and the diffuser is very different on the left and right hand side where the exhaust is sitting. The wing is also inspired by the original 3000 GT, and it has a carbon fiber inlay here. I actually like the look of this wing, it really suits the kit. But it's really interesting to see Toyota themselves. They said they wanted to embrace this as a modified car, and they realized that the Supra Mark IV wasn't famous because of itself in its normal standard form. It's because of what all the tuners did afterwards, and they've really embraced the fact and started to take notice of what tuners have done, and then making sure that the tuners are involved in the whole process with the new one to try and make it an iconic car again. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you guys have any other cars you want us to cover at SEMA, please let us know. If you'd like to watch more SEMA videos, you can click over here. If you want to watch anything that YouTube suggests you might like, you can click over here.